I'm working on a belt. This is a second belt for a customer, and I think I showed the basket stamping, the diagonal basket stamping in a video. Now I'm going to show you how I antique the brass. I can buy antique brass, but it never matches. So I'll buy Chicago screws, and the screws never match the buckle. D-rings never matched anything else, and it's crazy because nothing ever matches. I like my stuff to match, so I buy solid brass and I antique it myself whenever I can. If it doesn't matter, I'll use an antique brass buckle that I bought from wherever and put that in. This is hardware that I bought from Buckle Guy. I'm using pretty simple stuff, readily available, and I'm going to show you how I do it. I don't do it like everybody else. I was watching Road Agent Leather. The last couple of times I watched him, he did antique some brass, and I noticed he does the same thing I do. So, who knew? I thought I was special, and here I'm not. Anyway, let's get after this. I'll show you how I do it. So the stuff we need is some 4/0 steel wool, your buckle, your Chicago screws. The steel wool, we're just gonna go right. Can you see me here? Not real well. You see the finish that's on there. What we're gonna do is just, as we rub on that, you see how dull it gets? That's the clear coat. We're cutting into the clear coat there. So if we keep rubbing it, you'll see that, back up a little, it cuts through that clear coat and you get shiny brass again. So we need to go over the entire buckle, and it doesn't take a long time. It just takes a little patience, a little elbow grease, and you get her done. Slide your roller over so you can get up, kind of under it. You're not going to get all the clear coat off, but you'll get most of it off. So it didn't take but a few minutes, 30 seconds or so to get that off. So I'm going to keep going after this. I'll get this buckle cleared off. I'm going to do the same to the Chicago screws, same kind of deal. Just need to scrub on them a little bit, and they'll get that milky colored, and you just keep after them a little. And you'll see the brass coming through around the edges. It takes just a few minutes. It doesn't really take long. I'll get these done and I'll come back and show you the fun part. Got my buckle, my 2 Chicago screws, and a pile of steel wool dust. We'll get rid of that because we don't need that. Buckle's cleaned off good. As far as my Chicago screws, I'm going to take them apart just because they're a little easier to work with. Now, I didn't worry about the inside parts because you'll never see those, so I didn't do those. Other than that, I'm going to take just a little piece of old t-shirt rag here and a little bit of isopropyl, 91% isopropyl alcohol, and I'm just going to kind of wipe it down. Just to get my oils off it for my fingers and stuff. And hopefully this will show me any spots that I might have missed. And I'm holding it by this inside piece of the buckle here. When you're cleaning off the clear coat, make sure you get the tongue. Don't miss that. I know it seems kind of silly because really you'll only see about the first ½ inch of it, but I want to make sure everything looks good. And as you clean it off, you'll be able to see spots that you missed. So everything looks pretty good there. Clean off my fingers a little. Close up my alcohol. I'm going to grab another piece of my rag here. Now you can use your rag, you can use some cotton swabs, whatever you want to do. I like to use a rag. Just another piece of my t-shirt rag. I do have another t-shirt I got to cut up too. What I'm going to use to antique it is Birchwood Casey Perma Blue Paste Gun Blue. That air conditioner ain't going to stop today, man. It's like 95 degrees, 70%, 72% humidity out. It's pretty nasty out, but it's not bad. Yesterday was even worse. So I'm going to use this, and I'm just gonna wipe it onto my parts. I've got a rag here that I'm just going to use to set everything on. Actually, I might have something better. This is just a little piece of plastic. I just don't want to leave it sitting on my bench here. Just because I tool leather on here, I don't want to take a chance of it being on there. This is a little toxic. Don't use your fingers to apply it. Make sure you use something. Contains selenious acid. Avoid contact with eyes and prolonged contact with skin. In case of contact, flush with water thoroughly. For eyes, get medical attention immediately. Got that? Read your warnings, know what you're working with. Don't pay so much attention to the directions because we're not using it to blue a gun. We're using it to antique brass. So I'm just going to take some, and the effect is nearly instant. I'm just going to get some on my rag, just a dab. And you're going to get some on your fingers. Be prepared to wipe that off. Wear gloves if you're uncomfortable with it. And I'm just going to go ahead and get this on my part here. I'll actually show you this one. So it's on there, and I don't know if you can tell, but it's already starting to discolor it. So it just means it's working, it's doing its thing. Now these screw parts, I probably really didn't have to do anything with them, but just because they're going to be up against the body, but the owner will see it. Now I'm just going to try to hold by the end here, and I'm just going to start dabbing it on. Road Agent Leather uses a paintbrush to apply this stuff. You could probably do that too. You probably just squirt a little line right on there if you want to. I used to just use my fingers. You can already kind of see that it's turning the color. It's darkening it up a bit. You can see in the back here where I haven't really got much on there. It's not so much happening there yet. Set that down. And I'm just going to let this sit for a couple of minutes. I got everything coated. I used a paintbrush for a second coat. I thought I hit record to show you what I was doing. I'm sorry, I didn't. But I just used a paintbrush and dip it into a pile and just applied it. So let's see how she looks here. In about 15 minutes. I'm going to let it sit a little longer this time and see if we get a little darker. Alrighty, it's been about 15 minutes-ish. I just got a little bottom of soda bottle or something that I cut off. I put water in it for a while. These have darkened up really nice. I'm just going to start dropping my Chicago screws in the water here. Throw my buckle in there. Swirl it around a little bit. I'm going to clean off my plastic. I actually use this for other stuff too, so see if the acid in this birchwood casey stuff eats through the plastic at some point. It shouldn't. It hasn't killed me yet. I've been using it for years. I used it just recently to fix a little rust freckle on a gun. Anyhow, the water is going to neutralize it. You don't have to have anything in there, just water. And water, of course, doesn't hurt brass. Well, it might tarnish it. Oh wait, that's what we're trying to do. If I can get a hold of these Chicago screws. I didn't do the backs of them a second time. So there is what the first time gave me. And the second time, nice little bit darker. I like it. I think that's perfect. I think my customer's gonna love it. Nope, there's the other one. Put them both side by side. You can see that I've got a pretty consistent look and color there, and that's what I'm after. Here is a buckle that I bought from Tandy, and this is a Chicago screw that I got from Buckle Guy, and you can tell they're close, but really that doesn't look like antique brass. I don't know what that looks like, and it's the only thing I've been dissatisfied with from Buckle Guy. The finish comes off them pretty easy. I just took some steel wool to one for a few seconds and it starts coming right back off. So I don't know what kind of finish they got on there, but once you start getting through the clear coat and start biting through it a little bit, it starts looking more like antique brass. So I don't know what they did, but I didn't care for it. I don't use them. I'll use them on personal projects or something. But this is an antique brass Dunham buckle from Tandy. So let's get out this other buckle and see what the difference is. Remember, I'm after a consistent looking finish with my screws. I'm going to use my squirt bottle to get inside this roller area. To try to flush that out, because I want to get as much of it out of there as I can. Now without the finish on this, it's going to continue to age on its own, and then it's really just looks phenomenal after that. But I'll take a picture and put it at the end here as well, because you'll see that a little better. Oops. Well, here's one screw anyway. I think I got that right where I wanted it. It's a pretty consistent looking color. And I think that's just what I wanted it to look like. I think that's pretty good. Like I said, I've been doing this for a couple of years now. And it was just something that popped into my head one day to use this Birchwood Casey Perma Blue. And I've had this sitting on my bench my gun bench for years. I keep this around and it worked really well. Alright folks, here it is. Looks great on this belt with the brown. I like it. I realized when I put it together, I forgot a keeper. I forgot to make the keeper. I keep black ones all made and ready to go, but I don't have brown ones. So I'm gonna have to make one. Crazy. Anyway, I'm gonna get that made, get this out the door. I have found that the perma blue is probably the quickest way and the way that I get the best consistency between the buckle and the Chicago screw so that they look the closest. You can use, this looks fine. I'm okay with the way this looks, but I can't find Chicago screws that look like it. None of the rivets, nothing. I can't find any of that kind of stuff that looks like it. So what do? You wind up having to make your own, and that's all there is to it. I showed you how to do it. That steel wool, it takes a little bit of elbow grease and a little bit of effort, but that's the best way I've found to get it off of there. To get that clear coat off, you got to get that off or it's not going to work. Some people use acetone. I think Road Agent Leather uses acetone to get it off. Acetone's toxic. I don't like smelling it. It stinks. And it stinks up the whole shop. So I try not to use that if I don't have to. It can soften it up and then take the steel wool to it. That'll work. But steel wool just takes a few extra minutes to buff right through it. And it works out okay. So, all that being said, since I said so much, drop a comment down below. I always appreciate it. I always read them. I always respond to them. And go ahead and if you hit that thumbs up, I really appreciate it. It helps the channel out. Helps that YouTube algorithm recognize that I make videos. And hit that subscribe button if you're not already. I appreciate that as well. I appreciate everybody watching my videos. And y'all stay safe and God bless. I'll catch you in the next video.